Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Mars square opposition or inconjunct one's natal Saturn. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Mars, this could be about energy, vitality, courage, fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, and enterprise. And when you have the transit of Mars basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal Saturn, I'm going to elaborate on that. When I'm talking about basically, an adverse aspect, well, of course, the square and opposition aspect is that is adverse and negative, but the inconjunct aspect can be seen as neutral. But when you have an inconjunct aspect in astrology, it can require an adjustment, a transition, and when you're trying to make an adjustment, it can be tension filled, it can be somewhat exasperating. So when you have, again, the transit of Mars basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal Saturn, well, it may manifest in the energy, vitality, courage, fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, and enterprise that might conflict with your responsibilities. If you're angry about something or incensed over some issue, naturally it's going to be harder to really take care of your responsibilities, or it could be your career or work that needs to be done. If you're, say, if the natal Saturn is in Virgo, it could be a career where you're doing some analysis or extrapolating data or doing detailing on a vehicle if that still exists. It could be doing something with cleaning, like, or organizing a home. Anything that could be Virgo related. It could be something that requires a strong attention to detail. It could be compiling data, or being something with data entry. Uh, this Saturn is also connected with father and older people. And the thing about this is, this could be a situation where you may not really have the drive and motivation, if there's to do any activities that may be involving these people. Maybe the situation with these people may be a little bit more contentious, more combative, and acrimonious than usual. You might not even have really the drive and motivation to do things that are career related in general at this time and take care of responsibilities. Now, Saturn is also associated with restrictions and limitations. So it might be harder, to really get the energy, to work through them limitations at this time, and restrictions. If you have, say, your natal Saturn is in the first or sixth house, it could be a greater propensity in difficulty trying to find the drive and motivation to work through physical ones. The first house, of course, is associated with the physical body. The sixth house can rule physical health related matters. So also too, if this is, Saturn anatomically is connected with the bones, the knees, the joints, the hamstrings, and this could be something too, where these things, if you have any of these debilitations, or anything, afflictions with what I just described, with what's connected with Saturn anatomically speaking, it can cause more agitation. It might be more, you might be more, acerbic at this time, and it might be more of a frustrating, situation at this time, more so than usual. It might have an adverse effect on your vitality and energy more so than usual. Now, Saturn is also connected with chronic debilitations. So it might be, at this time, this is a time where, again, if you have anything, any chronic illness or debilitation, finding the energy, your actions, it may be harder to even just perform certain actions at this time if you do have a chronic debilitation. Say if the natal Saturn is in Scorpio, it could be some issue with the colon, the prostate, the bladder. It can be, if it's in, say if it's in Libra, natal Saturn is in Libra, it could be something with the kidneys or the lower back, as some examples. Now, Saturn is also connected with despondency and sorrow. So it might be something where maybe there might be difficulty in doing something physically, or not having, the energy or vitality might be tied in to feeling maybe somewhat depressed or despondent at this time. Maybe it's just bringing, could be, energy, low energy situation, maybe tied in to perhaps how as far as feeling somewhat dejected at this time, if that's the case. Saturn is also connected with our fears, so it might be more difficult than usual to take action on these matters. If there's anything that you have some kind of fear over at this time, say if you have your Saturn in Aquarius or in the 11th house in your natal chart, it could be over being around groups, or large groups of people, or out with maybe even interacting with friends or acquaintances at this time. It can be a situation, and it might be harder to take action on that more so than usual. This is also, when you look at Saturn, Saturn is connected with laborious work. So it can be a time where the energy may not be there to actually, perform these tasks. It might be harder. It might be more of a laborious effort to actually deal with laborious work at this time, more so than usual. It can be. This is, say, if the natal Saturn is in Pisces, it might involve some altruism or self-sacrificing energy for others, doing work that maybe is connected with the less fortunate. It could be something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology. It can also be, or working on, doing something with fishing, or working on a dock or something. And it can be also, too, when you look at this transit, keep in mind that Saturn is also connected with mentoring. So if you're somebody that's a mentor and you're a teacher on some subject, it might be the time where you're not as driven or have the enthusiasm to do this at this time. Now, another way this transit may manifest is that you might not be as motivated to do hard work. Again, reiterating what I said previously. Now, let's take another example. If Saturn is in Capricorn as an example, this could be work in business. It can be something with construction or architecture, just very hard, general, mundane work as some examples. Now, the situation, again, may be more contentious with the father, older people, authority figures at this time. Say if the transit Mars is in Sagittarius, maybe there's issues connected with the law, the truth, philosophy, religion. It could be, something, maybe could be a simple issue, maybe an argument connected with sports at this time. And the thing is, this time as well, Mars is associated with accidents. So another way this transit may be expressed, it could be accidents may adversely affect one's career responsibilities that may have to be performed. Now, say if, if the natal Saturn is in Aquarius as an example, this could be, things connected with astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, even innovation, astronomy, doing things associated with humanitarianism or altruistic acts at this time. Maybe doing something with human rights or being a social advocate. Now, too, as well, another way this transit may manifest, it could be difficulty in finding the enthusiasm and even the energy and vitality to deal with fears at this time. Of course, fears is associated with Saturn. Now, if Saturn is in Gemini as an example, it could be doing something, that requires versatility, or maybe something with, communication. Maybe if you're, somewhat inhibited in terms of communicating or speaking to others. It could be in front of other people. This could be a situation where you might, have a little more difficulty finding the exuberance and enthusiasm to even try to tackle those fears. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, could also, this transit may result in some cases where it may be, if there's any anger, you're dealing with some acrimonious situation in your life, it may cause some difficulty in trying to concentrate at this time. Saturn could be connected with concentration. Maybe concentrating on task at this time may be difficult. And say if the transit Mars is in Scorpio, there might be some anger you're dealing with over maybe a situation. You may feel you were manipulated, or might be issues with jealousy, or maybe somebody acted toward you. You were a victim of some vengeful, act or behavior. Can be, or maybe some situation with maybe there's lack of power or control in the situation, which may be causing the anger, and it's difficult for you to maybe focus or concentrate on tasks or responsibilities, even career-related matters at this time, more so than usual. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.